This is surviving the music industry.
That sounds sick.
I didn't think about how that sounded.
What's up, all my quarantine peeps out there? How we doing? We living it? This is our best 2020 life, and it's happening right now. You're listening to Surviving the Music Industry. I'm Brandon Harrington, and this is my podcast where I sit down with tons of creatives, some people on the inside, all for the listening pleasure of the Gen Pop. The Gen Pop are those people that may not be creative. Maybe they're into songwriting and music. Maybe you guys are songwriters. I don't know. Either way, I talked to some pretty gnarly people. One of those gnarly people that happen to be right now in this episode, Maggie Miles. I just got done talking to her, and it was a new experience. We're all quarantined, and so I'm still chugging along on the show. I'm not stopping for the Ronas. The Rona's not going to have me down, so we had to phone her. You guys been longtime fans of the show? You know we are anti-phoner. We have face-to-face FaceTime, not the app where Russia has control of it. But we have deep, meaningful conversations in person. And trying to do that over the phone, it was a new experience for me. I've done it as like an artist, people like interviewing me, because, dude, it is totally simpler. And like you're able to get more stuff done that way, but it's just not the same. I don't know. We hit it off. I'll let you guys be the judge of it. But nonetheless, we're all quarantined in this situation. So, we're making the best of it. And this is making the best of it. You guys want some stuff to listen to? You got to do it with what I got right here. This is happening right now. Anyway, Maggie Miles, she was great. Again, I say that about everybody, but she was authentically great. Got to know her. I didn't know her music at all until her publicist got a hold of me. And I mentioned this much later. I think I do, that I'm a big fan of ghosting. Ghosting is not a negative thing in my head. It's just kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it, but I really won't. So I kind of ghost situations and people, and most specifically emails in my life. And so I see that email. It has to be a certain kind of email. You got to approach it the right way for me to click on it and see it. So her publicist had it down. He's a rad dude. I like the people over at Big Hassle, if any of you insiders know. But anyway, I like those people over there. They said you should check it out. So I checked it out, fell in love with it. I think it's awesome with my alternative music, grunge-loving heart. Now, when I say grunge, she's not grunge. She just has this angst to her that's really interesting. And there's this creative energy she puts out, like on the recordings, especially a live show. Can't see a live show right now because you know why? Ronas. That's where we're at right now. In fact, there's probably a washing machine happening right now. I'm recording in my home, people. Do you feel me on this? The Rona is taking me down notch by notch. We have this thing called a kid that we own, and he's here. And there's no school, so we're doing homeschool situation. And I don't know if you guys ever been homeschooled. I've never been homeschooled. I have homeschool friends, and they were this foreign thing to me. But now I'm walking to this foreign nation of homeschooling, and this is it. I finally got to the point where I just put the Google Nest in front of him, he can just ask questions. Let that be the teacher. Mr. Google. That's where we're at. Just kind of letting him roll with it. But hope you guys are keeping your sanity. But the crazy, most beautiful thing in this whole wide world of craziness that's happening right now, you've never seen a world become closer in connectivity than you have right now. People doing their live shows. There's some jokes about it. That you could easily go down. But to be honest, it is a beautiful thing. Artists, musicians, people still want to try to connect. And you're offering a service to other people, free or not, free and doing it. Either way, people are taking advantage of it and they're accepting it and they love it. I think you guys, if you're not doing it, hop on. You got 300 followers. Make a video for them. Why not? Keep them entertained. Those 300 fans are a reason that you have those likes on your pages for whatever that's worth. There's tons of, I saw a thing the other day, a merch company is selling super cheap basic t-shirts, and with the screen print, you can get them for $2. And so a bunch of people are reaching out in the music community where, some of these services and some of these consumables and this merchandise can be really expensive, but in a way you could turn it a profit. Buy a shirt for $2, put your logo on it, sell it for $8. It's still really cheap and you still make a profit. So I think there's tons of ways you can give back to your fans and your community. You can still make a buck in this troubling time of shows being canceled. Your tour schedules are all out of whack, or they're the lack of whack. So there's beautiful opportunities where you can jump in, still provide a service to your fans, and then also fulfill your soul and your heart, and still make couple of bucks on the side. Nashville's taking a big hit. I got a lot of friends that work in the downtown Broadway area. I never did that scene personally, but like I said, I got some friends down there that aren't there anymore. They're taking a hit, and I think that also reflects people that tour as well. So I don't know. Good thoughts, good vibes. Hopefully, by having some of these conversations I'm having with other artists and songwriters, we can all still stay connected and understand, and I don't know, take a couple of pointers, maybe take your mind off a couple of things too. Maybe you can laugh at us. I don't know. But I think it was great for what it's worth in this day and point in time and situation that we're in. It was Maggie Miles. She came in. I'm so used to saying came in. She phoned in and we had a conversation to kind of get to know her. Now, she's young, up and coming, starting in her career as an artist. But again, I don't do a lot of starting out artists. It's a very rare case of when I would do something like this. But I don't know. I love the music, and I said, why not? So this is the why not. She's got Swim coming out March 27th. It's going to be her newest track, but she has tons of other stuff that's out. She's got an EP out that you guys need to go check out on the spots, on the tunes, anything that's out there on your music platform. Go to MaggieMilesMusic.com. I usually say check out tour dates at this point, but can't do that right now. But I think you can stay connected for what it's worth. Our social platforms, you can look up Maggie Miles. But I think now is the time, if any, for us to try and stay connected, to have a little empathy, and I'm sure we can all sympathize at some point. And I don't know. I hope this can kind of become a thing of that, where we can all still stay connected in some way. On that, you guys want to stay connected at SMI Podcast, across our socials, smipodcast.com. But let's get to the point of it. Here's Maggie.
Kind of crazy. I actually was literally in Japan in February. Or in January, sorry. Yeah, so right before this whole thing exploded. Really scary stuff, dude.
Dude, you had a front row seat to the whole situation, but stuck on a plane. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean,
I wore masks and gloves.
Yeah,
and
you fit right in
stuff.
perfectly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was starting to get hopping at that time too. I mean, was it tense at that point? Did you feel that intensity?
No, definitely not. I mean, what's wild is Japan's so clean.
Yeah,
it
right.
Just wasn't even. It's crazy. I don't know if you've ever been there, but Tokyo, the culture there is just extremely sanitary. It's just very important to them. So
I love that you can basically do anything in your life in a vending machine in Japan. If you,
dude, that's so true.
100%. You need clean underwear. Boom. There's a vending machine for that. Whatever you're missing in your life, there's a vending machine in Japan that has it for you.
You need a vending machine? Go to a vending machine. You can get a vending machine out of it.
Vending machine in a vending machine. It's like those Russian dolls. It just kind of never ends. That would be amazing. No, so, I mean, obviously it's a crazy time. What's going on in your life? Are you kind of quarantined right now?
Yeah, I'm currently just chilling at home, and I'm just writing a lot of music and working on a lot of back-end marketing stuff. I was designing some merch today on Photoshop and just getting some fun stuff done that I can because I have the time now.
Right, yeah.
So,
If there's a perk
Yeah.
to this whole situation is like downtime. And then
I know.
do all the crap that you don't want to do and you want to pass to somebody else, but now
Yep.
you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, do you do the roommate situation or are you by yourself?
Yes, I do have roommates. I have 2 other roommates.
And you're never home, I'm sure. So are you guys like driving each other
I'm
crazy?
never home. No, not at all. They are. One of them, she still has to go to work. I feel so bad for her.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I'm like, all right. I stay kind of far away. But then the other one, she's been working from home, and they both have like 9 to 5s. And I'm like all over the place normally, like usually, but now I've just been like home, and it's super weird. Like it's very not my personality.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah, but this is like the
Okay.
new norm now. Like it's the weirdest
Mhm.
thing. It's almost like culture shock. Like you're just kind of sitting at home now and you got all this time in your hands and it's kind of like, well, I don't know what's going on 2 months from now. I mean, am I going to be on the road? Am I doing a tour? It's a weird
Everything is so in the air. It's so sad.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's also like a unique time too. Like, are you doing anything like live shows or doing anything like for your fan base or anything? Like over the internet?
Yeah. Yes, actually. I did a live stream, I think like 3 days ago. I literally just did like the set list that I do for like a 30-minute set. And kind of just took my time with it and played everything kind of stripped back and like reimagined. It was fun.
Right
It was a
on.
good time.
I do know a little bit about you that you're from Virginia, but
Mhm.
Virginia is one of those weird states, right? It's kind of like to me, it's kind of like, are you in a trailer in the mountains or are you working for the government situation? Like it's
Yeah.
so broad. Where do you kind of fit in that
Weird,
mix?
man. It's funny. I'm actually like in between that.
Okay.
So yeah, like my family, I grew up kind of at the foothills of the Shenandoah.
Mm.
And so like Shenandoah River's going right there. And then there's like the Blue Ridge Mountains, like in my backyard. It's really cool. But I grew up like in a neighborhood. So I grew up in like a really like normal, like lower middle class, like neighborhood. And then you like get out of that and it's just like the mountains are to your right. But then the highway is like right there.
Yeah.
And so you can hop on that super easily and then just be in DC in like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. What'd your parents do?
My mom works for the government.
I knew it. I knew one of them at
Yep.
least. I love it. What does she
Uh-huh.
do?
I actually don't know. I
What?
actually don't know what she does. Yeah, I'm not allowed to. I don't know what she does.
This is a real thing. Like we're talking like some CIA
Yeah, man.
stuff. Like you can't talk about it.
Dude, I know it has something to do with like contracting and like cyber stuff, but she like legally cannot, like she has to take polygraphs every 3 to 4 months, I think.
Holy
And,
shit.
Yeah, dude. And you know what's so cool is like my mom is such a badass because she, for a lot of reasons, she is. But one of the main ones is like she used to work as like an executive assistant at this like small insurance company. It was like a private one. And she came home from work one day. Both my parents have worked like forever. She came home from work one day and she was like talking to my dad and she's just like, hey, so I think I want to get my clearance. And he was like,
Wow.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So she just like went
Go
and did
for
it and like soared through it, with flying colors because she had like a squeaky clean record and works really hard. And so then she just kind of worked her way up and now she's at a point like none of us really know what she does.
Amazing. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was like 3 years ago, something like
Okay.
that. So she's been doing that for a little while now. So,
Oh, okay.
so fun.
That's crazy. Sounds like, this just happened like 3 years ago. Like it doesn't affect you or your childhood. Like it's just kind of like, oh, mom's
Nah.
doing like dope ass shit right now. Munich style. I mean, solving the world's
Yeah,
problems.
dude.
That's awesome.
She just like leaves really early in the morning and she'd come back and it's like, all right, cool. Like,
Crazy.
we had like a joke, like my brother and I would see like a jet fly by. I'm like, oh, hey, mom. Like, she's obviously not doing that, but it's like
She's on those Area 51 flights, just busting in the work on a plane. Amazing.
like flying choppers. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. What's your dad do?
My dad is really interesting. He, all grown up, well, not all grown up. When I was really, really young, he worked on cars. He was a dent master. So he would follow hailstorms and basically work on cars in those areas, like around the country.
Yeah.
So he traveled quite a bit. And then on the side, on the weekends, he was in a Celtic rock band. He played bass.
No way. Really? Like
Yeah.
a Dropkick Murphy kind of thing, Flogging Molly kind of deal?
More the second.
Flogging Molly? Oh,
yeah.
That's cool. Right on.
Yeah, it's kind of rad. Like, I have really faint memories. Like, I was super young, but I have really faint memories of like sitting on my mom's lap, like in pubs, and just watching them all like literally in kilts, like covering Crooked Jack, and you know they would cover like U2 and do like weird like Celtic spins on stuff. It was cool. Like, it was really interesting.
That is crazy. Mom, the
Yeah,
CIA,
cool.
kind of bouncing the gig, and dad's up there in a kilt. That's amazing. That's a crazy childhood. That's really crazy, right? Like, nobody has that.
No, he kind of like flipped around in like 2005 or 6. I can't remember. I was really young, but he became a pastor, and so he was a youth pastor then for like 10, 11 years.
Okay. Yeah. I got to follow up to that. But you said you had a brother. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a brother and a sister.
Oh, okay. So you got sibs. So are you the youngest?
Mm-hmm. I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest, and you're doing this music
I
thing?
am.
Man, I don't run into that often.
Yes, I think so. Last time I checked, doing
Yeah.
something with music.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do they do? Are they like gen pop? Are they kind of normal? Are they in the government too?
The government.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're in high school. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm feeling it. I love it. So your dad started doing like some church work and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
did that influence you, like music wise too? Did you end up playing in church or anything?
Oh, dude, that's like my roots.
That's background, huh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay.
that's where
Whitney
I
Houston
started.
style.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm throwing it at you.
That's like quite the comparison. I'm not worthy.
Yeah. Well, okay. What kind of church was it? I mean, like, was it a gospel thing, or like, did you do like the church band situation?
It was like church band. It's really similar to like Nashville.
Yeah. I'm
Not
hearing.
not in the skill set.
Yeah, right.
Everybody here is like insane, but in the sense that it's like I had a friend who used to call it like rock and roll Christian because it's like there's electric guitars and hey, look, a bass amp and tracks, a real drum kit, that kind of stuff. So I would play keys or drums or whatever they needed.
Yeah, and you're a keyboard player. This is something I've seen too, doing the keytar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly. So, okay, did you like do the piano lesson thing, or you just do that like playing in church band?
No, I didn't do lessons. I really wanted to do like, it's kind of weird. I had a couple like records in my early teens that kind of like sank into my soul, so to speak, and I was like, dang, I want to know how to like play this. And one of them was "Dreaming Out Loud" by One Republic.
Oh,
I think it's their debut album. And so, yeah, I learned how to play that record and specifically the song "Come Home." It's like the last song on the album. And I just dug into it and listened to it like 1,000 times and figured it out. And after that, I like took some of the chords from that song and kind of like arranged my own sort of like melodies because it was the only chords I knew. And so then from there I started learning like Someone Like You by Adele, and then, just like more and more songs that I enjoyed listening to. And then taking those chords. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like you started, like, for me, there was like a period of music that just sucked between like 2005 to like, I don't know, like recently years, like to 2010. But around that One Republic, like Adele thing, that's when like radio, like music started like getting really good to me. Like I think it's awesome that you mentioned One Republic and those like earlier records, because like it is bare bones, but like lyrically driven, and the instrumentation of like what they did, like when they started out is perfect. Like whatever Maroon 5 started to do, like
they picked it up and made it better.
100%. Yeah, they just took it like
it's
that
a little
route.
less rock and roll.
Oh yeah. I mean, they nailed it. Like that sound and the thing, like when they came out at a perfect opportune time. And I just love that you picked that up and like you listen to the music at the right time. Like 5 years before, you would have sucked. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Ryan Tedder.
Yeah, I know, right? Songland. Yeah. Okay, things sound normal to me, right? I mean, like you're a kid in the burbs, and dad's doing the pastor thing. I mean, nothing like too rocky or shaky in your life, right? To kind of rattle the roots and question who you are. Is there?
I mean, we all go through that. Totally. Definitely went through that in my later teen years up until like probably about a year ago, honestly.
Yeah, what was that then?
I mean, it's just growing up, coming of age.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody goes through that. And it was just I think I kind of came to a point where I'm so sorry, my roommate just like slammed the door upstairs. I don't know if you can do that.
Oh, they can hop on board too, I guess. They're not...
Hey!
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But I mean, like, honestly, I think it's just, I came to a crossroads, not to be cheesy, where I was like, do I actually like believe this?
Oh, like, is this like faith-wise yourself? Like you're kind of wrestling with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. I mean, just like anybody. I mean, when you're raised in something and it's kind of oversaturated and you don't really have a ton of perspective outside of that paradigm, it's like you have to really like zoom out a little bit and be like, whoa, wait, who am I?
Yeah.
I know what my family wants. I know what my friends want in this really niche community, but what do I want? What do I believe? And so I went through a period of kind of running around and like, I stepped away for a little bit from that. And now I feel like I'm at a place where my faith is so much more real because I kind of had to find that again for myself. And it was out of a necessity rather than a force-fed situation.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, like you kind of hit a point where I think they call it like deconstruct, or like you even start like realizing that you've been in this thing. People, they kind of spoon feed you this thing, but you kind of wake up in your mind and realize what that is. But I don't know, through course in life and dealing with things, like what do you believe? Like what is the thing? Is there a denomination or like a faith that you do now?
Yeah, I mean, like the bottom line is just like I believe in Jesus.
Okay.
And like who he says he is. And I believe that, that whole like Bible thing is is a legitimate sound book. And it took me a while to kind of come to that conclusion. But I think also like examining it again, like the basis of just loving others and serving others and kind of putting yourself underneath others is, I don't think that's a bad way to live. I don't think you can really go wrong.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So.
It's always a thing though. Like religion is a funny thing because
it can suck, dude.
I mean, that's part of it, right? Like the thing in my head is like you're fed this thing usually by your culture, and then they implement the seed in your brain, and it grows and grows and grows, and then all of a sudden you kind of think, wait a minute, what is this or what is that? Do I believe in this? And this deconstruction period does something crazy in your headspace. I don't know what that is, but I don't know other things that have that emotional impact like on you as a human being other than, just dealing with religion itself. So, okay, that's where you're at.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's very imperfect. It's started wars. It's done all that stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
Love.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Can't have too much love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we're like deep diving right off the bat, dude. We're like wasting no time.
Hey,
We're getting like philosophical here.
You took it that way. I'm just along for the ride. No. There's places I want to go. There's something you mentioned I definitely want to touch. I want to get to that later. But so, I mean, like, you're a young artist, right? Like, how old are you?
How old do you think I am? I'm just curious.
I don't know. 20 something, early 20s.
Whoa, wait, what? Yeah, I'm 20. I'm 20 years old.
Don't make me feel bad. I was just going by like the Ryan Tedder thing and everything. So, did you do the college deal?
Yeah. I did not.
No, you didn't go to college? Yeah, so
no.
what'd you do during that time? Or during this time, I guess, like leading up to, I know warehouse management, entertaining, like discovering, like there's a piece of that there. So what were you doing up to that point?
Mm-hmm. I was working full time. I was working so I could do music. Yeah, I'd worked with a producer out of DC in late 2018, early 2019, and did an EP with him. I had a bunch of songs that I had written, and he discovered me on YouTube and wanted to work with me, and so I took those songs to him and we did them in his little basement studio.
No, wait,
and
who's this guy?
In order to pay for it, I needed to. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, I just wanted. Who was the producer that discovered you?
Austin Bello.
Yeah, what's he do? Do you know anything else?
He's freaking awesome, dude. You should look him up.
Okay.
He was in like a punk rock band in the early like 2000s. Forever the Sickest Kids.
Oh, that's cool. I like the name at least.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
but
the Warped Tour scene.
Okay, so but he's a local dude, and like he was just scouring YouTube. Is that the thing?
Yeah, he's pretty successful. He's a very talented producer.
Okay.
And he just came across like a performance that I posted of my first show that I ever played in June of 2018, and I posted it on my YouTube channel, and like 80 people saw it, and he was one of them. So it's kind of crazy.
That's insane. Like just I just love, you hear those old stories like in the 70s, like you walk in a bar and the Jimi Hendrix is on stage and then he's discovered. Like that version now is like what you just did, like the Justin Biebers and just even like what you just said, being discovered on YouTube. That's still a thing. People are still getting discovered on YouTube. That's not going away anytime soon.
I guess not. I was not expecting that. I had like an audience that I was showing my little crappy like ukulele songs to, and my dad was like, he encouraged me. He's like, you should post that. And I was like, it's my first show. I don't know. And he was like, yeah, you should. I was like, okay. And,
bass player dad. I love that. The rock and roll dad. So he helped you get discovered.
Sure.
So dude wanted to start producing you. He called you up. You guys got connected. And then what happened then?
Well, so I was the fall before that, I'm sorry. This is about a year out of me graduating high school that this whole situation happened.
Okay.
The year before that, I was going to go to a worship school and that I applied to go to in Florida. I got in.
What's a worship school?
Excited, dude. Yeah.
What is it? What is a worship school? What is that?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's extremely niche, obviously.
Okay.
It's not even, the one that I was looking at wasn't even like accredited. But I was just going because I was like, well, I do music and I guess this is kind of my thing. Like, and I was in this really like toxic mindset that because I was doing music and because I was a Christian, I needed to do Christian music and I need to do worship. And that's just simply not true.
Okay.
It's simply not true. And I've discovered that obviously now. But I was like, okay, I guess this is like my thing. And so I applied and I got in and I was excited because I really struggled in school. And
why is that?
Leading up to that point, I just didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah. What was the struggle in school?
I mean, just like my grades and stuff. I really struggled with like math, and I didn't know it, but I was like numerically. I still am. I'm numerically dyslexic,
Oh, wow.
which I didn't even
okay.
know was a thing.
Yeah.
And I had like undiagnosed like ADD, and found that out when I was like 17. So I'd gone through all of school, just like really having a difficult time, and just didn't know it, didn't know why, you know. And so I kind of was late in the game when it came to like applying to college. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to medical school, or I'm, going to do this." And I was like, "I don't know. I play keys at my church, like, and I write songs in my room, but no one knows them, and like, I'm never going to share them." And so I did that, and then the whole thing fell through. It was crazy.
Wow. Okay, so I would think like before this time you're going through a deconstruction period with religion. So we just talked about that. And then you're finding out like your brain just ticks a different way and how you receive information. And then you basically had like the carpet pulled from underneath you, like from college.
Totally.
Wow, that's insane. Like that could do so much to, I don't know. I remember being 17 and just your whole life being interrupted by really so much more impactful things. I mean, that does something to you. I mean, in your headspace and
Yeah, I mean, it happened really late. It was about a week and a half before move-in day. I got the phone call that none of my scholarships went through, and I was paying for it for myself. And so to hear that, none of my loans, none of my scholarships, they weren't going to be able to take me that semester. And I was like, "Oh, well, can you take me next semester, like in the fall or in the winter?" And they were like, "No, we can't. We can't take you for like 4 more semesters," because it was such a small school. I had to like audition to get in. I had to go through all of these application processes, and it crushed me, man. I watched all my friends go to college that fall. It was really sad.
man, I just hope you email them soon of like all your jams, like here recently, and even like some Billboard articles. But do you know like what was the thing? Like, do you know like why you didn't get accepted or anything? Do you have a gut
It was all
feeling?
financial stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, the gut feeling is that it just wasn't supposed to happen. But yeah, I mean, like I would have wasted 2 years of my life doing that, and I probably wouldn't be in Nashville right now.
For the better.
Doing music full time.
Dude,
Yeah, totally.
I went to school and it's such a waste of time. All you
Man.
kids just get out while you still can. Because it's the thing of like, especially it's music. I mean, you're going to learn this thing in a book, but imagine what you could really learn like when you're out there doing it. And that's what it takes. Because like fully admit, do you think that you doing the thing, meeting with people, producing your stuff, having the rights and all this stuff that's happening now, you obviously couldn't have done that if you went to school?
No,
Yeah.
because I couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah.
And I know that wholeheartedly. Like Warehouse, my management, they've made so many of my dreams possible because they hustle so hard on my behalf. And like, I wouldn't be where I am without them.
Yeah.
You know?
There's somebody at Warehouse I know, and I forgot his name.
No
but
way, really?
Yeah, he's a producer, right? Like,
Luke?
I think it's Luke. What's his last name?
Luke Wooten?
Yes, I think so. If he was in town at one point doing like a session of some kind, I think I was in that session.
What?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I remember looking at the picture online and thinking, I think I know that dude. So it could have been him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's
But
a great guy.
so you got discovered by those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
By Luke. Was it by Luke?
No, it was by their main investor, Bruce Gates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get discovered then? I mean, after college, you're kind of depressed mode, but I'm sure you're writing music, right?
Oh my gosh, dude, I wrote the most music that year up until like this point I'm in right now. Just because I could. I was just working. I was washing dishes. I was working front desk at like a massage office. I was a barista. I was given really crappy guitar lessons. Like anything I could do to make money. I could just like make more music. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it was.
All right. So you're doing the hustle. You're writing songs. Are any of those songs like that you've released or that you're going to release?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which ones?
Mm-hmm.
Which ones in that time
I mean,
did you write that's out?
Pretty much like the entire like 3 songs
Oh, that's cool.
that are on that little EP.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm trying to think, I have a project coming up that probably a good 4 or 5 songs on it I wrote previous to moving here, just in like that time and stuff.
That's cool. Because I asked this, like, do you feel like that material is like more raw emotionally that versus like even like new stuff? Like if you wrote a song today, like do you feel like the emotional timeline, like those songs are like completely different?
That's a great question. I think it depends, because when I first moved here, I wrote some really raw stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, that's a great question. I think that's a little bit subjective. I think it could depend on who's listening to it. If they feel like it connects with them in a more vulnerable way, then that's what they think. I think if you mean like the actual process of writing it was easier or something.
No, I'm not there yet. Yeah, I do have some like ideas for you about that, but I really meant emotional like rawness of just just the actual feeling of the song. Like does it does it still stir those same depressing, vulnerable, wound wide open moments versus today, which I'm saying that you're not going through any pain, but maybe it's different. And so I just kind of wondered these times in our lives, especially when we're writing songs, like we kind of leave some blood on the paper there. And sometimes,
100%.
yeah. And so it's just kind of that thing of like, because of X thing, is it this kind of song? And then should you always steer toward that? Should you still always like put salt on the wound just so you can feel that way, as a songwriter?
Yes.
I don't know. I deal with that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Are you a songwriter, dude?
Yeah, I do. I kind of hang out and do some co-writes in town. Yeah, it's all right. I'm nobody famous. Obviously, I'm more famous talking.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not. Yeah, you're better. You're way better than I am. But all right. So you got discovered. How did you get discovered outside of YouTube now? So you're in DC. And you're writing these songs, and like, were you at a show? Like, did you do like an open mic night or something? And then the guys at Warehouse just kind of found you?
Kind of. I was washing dishes at work, and my phone rang. And my buddy was like, hey, I'm playing a show. I need an opener. Do you want to come out? It's in DC. And I was like, holy crap, I've always wanted to play in the city. Yes. And so I drove out, and it was like literally in 2 days. So I called some buddies of mine. We like barely rehearsed. And then we show up at the show, and like everything was going wrong, dude. It was nuts. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes though, right?
Yeah, what was bad? Like, what was going wrong?
A lot of it was out of the band's control, but like my bassist, I felt really bad for him. He got stuck. I guess it was like a baseball game or something, but he was just like MIA. And so he was stuck in traffic, and we weren't even really able to really communicate with him very much. So like no one really knew.
DC and traffic.
So I'm like, great, I don't have a bassist.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
it's nuts out there. And I love that he just hit a dead spot and nobody could get a hold of it, because they're everywhere in DC. Like if you're just in this certain point in DC, like you're gone. You might as well not exist. You got beamed up and the aliens or mom CIA kind of picked you up. So that's just that's DC to me. That's funny. But,
I mean, dude, you're not wrong.
I know.
That's literally what it is.
I know. All right, keep going.
Well, so that happened, and then while I'm like pacing around, I'm trying to calm down the band. I'm like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. The manager of the venue comes up to me, and he's just like, hey, kid, and I need to preface this. I was told to prepare a 25-minute set because I was opening. This guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey, can you play for an hour? And I was just like, and for like any musicians who like, I hope that's like, musicians are listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah.
But like going from 25 minutes to an hour is
that's a whole record.
Is a whole set. Yeah, it's a record.
And like you have next to no
crazy.
songs. You have an Adele song in your pocket. Did you start just pulling covers out left and right?
More or less, dude. I just was like, all right, I'm going to go out and stall until the bassist gets here. So I go out and I played for like 40 minutes, just a bunch of stuff I was writing that was like, literally some of it was unfinished. I was playing the 2 covers that I could remember at that moment. I just like stalled and that is the time when Bruce Gates walked in.
Wow.
Is when I was stalling.
Wow.
And
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So he took videos of me and he sent them to Luke Wooten and Nicole and like everybody over at that team. And then my band came on stage and we like crushed it and it was really high energy and fun and it was crazy, man. It was crazy. I had no idea what was happening behind the scenes.
And
no clue. I was just stressed.
Now see that's awesome because I love stories like this. It's kind of like that scene like in any movie where there's like an underdog and they obviously end up being the top dog. Like there's always this moment of like you cannot be any lower at this point in front of an audience. But dude, you never know who's out there and like what they hear, what they capture. Obviously you did something to impress Bruce and the people at Warehouse. That's insane. But you were just a scattered wreck on stage. That's what makes it even better. That's awesome.
I know. Oh man, I was like sweaty. I'm like, this is awful. This is the worst set. Like,
yeah.
I just felt like I wasn't on par, and yeah, it ended up being okay. So.
And then the rest is history. They love you. You're writing songs with them. And you got some good stuff out too. That's awesome. Man, that's a happy story.
So
man, good for you. I mean, what's insane in this time, and because the way that you got discovered, everything was just so natural. Like everything seemed to be like so organic in my imagination. Was it to you?
I'm still processing it, if I'm being honest.
It's still fresh, right? Because I mean,
it's so fresh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I moved here in September, so it's like I'm still adjusting to like I'm like, oh wait, I'm not in high school. Oh my gosh, wait, what? Oh, I'm paying rent. Oh, I'm making music full time. It's just flipping over on its head, and I feel like I grew up the most in 2 years. More than I ever have in my life. And I think anybody from the age of 18, 20 can say that, but it wasn't because of college. It was like literally life forced me to, and it's good. I'm like so grateful for that. So
like, there's so many people like having problems of just getting noticed. And then it just seems so easy to you. And that's an unfair comparison, but that's what some people are going to think. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah. No, I know.
Yeah. Do you think that's like fair or justified? Like, what do you feel when somebody like thinks that way or like sees that about you?
I feel terrible. I feel terrible because I don't want anybody to think that. I don't want anybody to think that I deserve that. That I deserve to be just, if it seems like that on the outside, that isn't fair. I know people who've been doing music a lot longer than I have and probably deserve it a lot more. And I don't, I don't know why that is. I do know though, like I struggle a lot with comparing myself. That's like the biggest demon. Just like anybody, any chick that you talk to. Like women deal with that, men deal with that, everybody. But especially within like the music community and the songwriting community in Nashville, like it's so saturated. And so like if you let your head like pivot even like 2 inches, you're gonna see like freaking Mariah Carey style, pipes. It's like
yeah.
you can't continually be going on that cycle. Because it's just fleeting. You have to just keep your head in front of you and encourage others while you're doing it. But believe that, like, I am me for like whatever reason. I'm me and you're you for whatever reason, you know, and just trust and believe in that. I know it's like freaking cheesy, but I do struggle with that a lot. Like I never want people to think that I didn't work to be where I am, or that, you know, I think that I'm deserving of a cakewalk or anything like that, because it's not how it was.
I mean, you got to know this by now too. It's kind of like, I mean, it's just right place, right time. Like, call it whatever you want. The music gods upstairs organizing and playing chess and like putting people in the right place. And it's kind of like, well, at some point, I mean, same story. I mean, name X person. I mean, why did Mariah Carey become Mariah Carey? You know, people honestly heard her at a right place, right time, you know?
Yes.
And then, I mean, it's no cakewalk after that. I mean, especially Nashville vibes. I mean, you gotta prove yourself in this town. I mean, you can, the doors, it's amazing.
It's scary, man.
Well, I mean, like the doors are wide open and like you can walk in, but then you got to prove yourself. LA and New York has a different vibe to me, but Nashville values a work ethic.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, and then also even those comparisons too. I feel that. I understand that feeling. Yeah, because I think comparisons in the age of like Instagram, anything social media is like made it 100 times worse for me. And this is kind of self-interest, I guess. Like when you find yourself going down this rabbit hole of comparisons, what do you do after that? You just wallow in it? You got a solution for it?
Depends on the day. Sometimes I, for some reason, like I know that sometimes that negative spot can really bring up, it can bear some fruit as far as creativity goes. And so I'll find myself like leaning into it more to create something a little bit darker, which is terrible. But it's like how artists are. But then sometimes it's like I'll flip it around and try and like process it in a therapeutic manner where it's like helping me and I can feel lighter sometimes. It depends. It's different. It's different every day.
Yeah, there's no one solution, right? I mean,
no.
We all kind of deal and process it within some way because this job is so narcissistic. Have you discovered that yet?
Dude, it's nauseating.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself, and I wonder if you feel this way of like, ooh, I love to be on camera. It's got to be like this thing, or this image has got to do this thing. And then the more I focus like on the me or that selfishness, that's when like the comparisons start getting worse. And then I kind of go down this mental thing of I just want to be wrapped in a depression blanket right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You have to combat it with lifting others up, I think. And rather than comparing, just acknowledging the good and acknowledging the talent in another person, but you don't have to tear yourself down, and you don't have to tear others down, certainly.
Dude, that's a tricky mindset. Like, not to tear other people down. That to me, that also applies like in your own headspace. I mean, you don't have to be a troll. Like, you don't have to like post it to be negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could just be just that negative comment in your head. I do that tons of times.
Yes, we all do. We're human. It's so easy because it's a quick fix, you know. It's a quick, easy way for you to be like, oh, wait, no, but they do this, or this one time I had an interaction with them and they said this, and that was just ew. Like I would never do that. And then you're like, wait, what the ew? That's disgusting. Why am I doing that? That literally is not even making me feel any better. Yeah, no, you're not alone in that, man.
Yeah,
it's so human. It's so human.
We're in the same comparison boat. That's it. Do you feel like you're still discovering who you are as an artist, like you and your team? Are you still guys kind of talking like behind the scenes of, well, is this it? Is this Maggie or X?
No.
So you're 100%. You could totally say, this is it. This is me.
Yeah.
Amazing.
100%.
That's awesome. A lot of people can't say that, and that's just an amazing feat to begin with.
It's not even like it's one clear, like that's the thing though, because that's not who I am. I'm not like one little like box or picture with a pretty little frame around it that looks the same. I'm like, especially this new project coming up, the way I've been describing it is like a cake, and the like cake itself is the same. Like when you bite into it, it's the same flavor, but the icing, like each slice is a different color. It's the same flavor cake.
Yeah, it's a unicorn cake on the inside. I like that. That's cool. That's a cool analogy.
Yeah. So it's kind of lame, but
no, it totally
really
works. Like the as long as I've been in music, like the gen pop, like people that don't do music, and then also even people that do music, like they want to nail you, like they want like to have it figured out. But the thing is like we're so complicated to begin with, like just a human. And so I just love the analogy of the different colors of cake because that's perfect. I mean, it's the thing of you really don't know a person or even their creative headspace. Like there's so many layers to it.
I know it took time, but because I think it'd be easy to like sonically go off of that question and be like, okay, this song sounds like pretty different from this one, so they don't really know who they are. And it's like, no, man, you gotta look at the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Why are they writing music? What's the music about? I think that's more where the artistry is, and then how they accentuate those flavors is kind of like the fun part.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Totally, because I kind of feel like now that I kind of do this thing basically full time, and and I understand the mindset of like a journalist trying to speak from the gen pop of trying to understand an artist or the creativity, but they don't understand. I feel like the layers behind it, because I feel like the obvious question from a journalist to you would be like, well, sonically, this song is different from this song. Why? And it's the thing of, well, if you're an artist, like you create, and what you create is going to be a little bit different, but your stamp is on it every single time.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. The cool thing about music is, and like a lot of people seem to forget, is the mystery. Like the mystery of the person like singing the song, the mystery of the song, like that mystery or the things like unknown, that's what makes it still a cool experience. Right?
Totally.
I feel like if anything, if I had to put a stamp like on any of your music, it would be kind of that. And that's what makes it cool to me. Like
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's kind of like that thing. It's kind of that thing of like I really want to get to know this person, and I feel like we have, but like the music still has so much more mystery to it, and it's kind of like, oh, I can keep coming back then.
Thank you so much, man. That's really, really kind.
Yeah, and then even sonically though. So are you into production? Is that something like are you a mad scientist like when it comes to production on a song?
I am not a mad scientist.
That's not your thing?
I get, I mean, there's people out there for sure that I'm like, holy crap, someday maybe. It's a muscle just like learning any other instrument.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better, I love it. I do know that.
Yeah, for sure. So
I do know that. I love it.
In your music then, are you more just the songwriter artist?
No, I try to be co-producing.
Okay, so you co-produce
anything that I'm involved in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely have like a sense in your music that you're there of like I want this and that.
Yes.
Holy
crap. Yeah, I can't imagine just letting them go to town. I think that happened more on like my EP. It's my first time ever working with the producer. And so I remember his DAW was Pro Tools. And so I was just like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm watching him do this. And then versus, getting to Nashville, and I had downloaded Logic and was kind of noodling around on that. And it's basically GarageBand on steroids. That's all it is.
Right, yeah.
So I had like a really like basic knowledge of it. And I noticed I was getting in these rooms and I understood what was going on because I was messing with stuff at home, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I could be like, oh, hey, wait, man, actually, can I do this really quick? And like, I can EQ something, or I can toss a plugin on that I really would love to hear on this specific vocal chop, or like whatever it is. the more that you work that muscle, and again, like I'm not not trying to like flex that or anything right now, because I'm certainly not at the point that I could produce like something completely by myself. I would love to get to that point.
Yeah, okay. Because to
like
me,
demos, but
I get that though. Yeah, I mean, you got enough chops to get around like in a session kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, I mean, you got Luke Wooten right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude can kind of jump in and kind of help out on some of that stuff. But like sonically on your songs, they hit hard. Like that's a compliment, I promise. Like there's
thank you.
Yeah, I feel like there's, and I've seen the labels, and I kind of hate genre labels, but they exist, I guess, for a reason. But this alternative edge, and I love alternative music but it hits a little bit harder, like sonically. So I didn't know how much of like your fingers are on the knob when it comes to that.
Totally, man. Yeah, totally. I don't want my song, like, I don't, how do I even say this? I don't really want to make music that doesn't affect someone. That's like a fear of mine, is to make a mediocre, like, project, a piece of work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like something that someone's just kind of sitting through as if, you know, like that feeling when this is what it feels like. When you're showing a friend like a video on YouTube that you find hilarious, and they're just kind of sitting there, and they're like tapping the screen every couple seconds to see how many minutes are left. Like that's the last thing I want. I want them to enjoy it and be there for a reason, and whatever that means for that song, whether it's quote unquote, you know, hitting hard, or if it's lyrically it's pulling them in. I don't know what it is, but like that's the last thing I want. So hearing that is like freaking sick.
Yeah, I love
that. Just made my day.
I love the bass player or whoever like produced the bass on Belief. That song, I love some of those bass runs, like whoever what was going on. That was awesome.
That is Austin Bello for you. He's an incredible bassist.
He's
awesome. Incredible.
Yeah. That's a track that pokes in my mind, especially like instrumentation and some of the production. Like it's a little bit more creative than especially like some of what like alternative music is out there like kind of doing.
It's very intricate.
Yeah, right. So for you as the artist, co-producer, lyricist, like do you have an emphasis on one over the other?
Lyrics are everything to me, so I like to be kind of in control. Yeah, I like to be in control of that.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I can feel that because after, I mean, the philosophical talks that we had probably like 30 minutes ago, like I feel like, and especially some of the songs that I know, at least to the gym pop, like Shiver or even Split, and I listen to Swim too before it's out. Like there's some like deep philosophical stuff. Like even in Shiver, to me, it was like a duality in existence with your identity situation. And my thing is like, why are you thinking about these things?
Yeah, man. I mean, don't we all think about those things?
We do. I mean, the joke is, I mean, it's not even a joke. I feel like a boomer would say something like, why is a 20-year-old like talking about these things? But, you know, with the philosophical discussions you've had in your brain, like years ago, like with religion and just dealing with how you receive information as well, and a scholastic, and having your heart broken as well. It's kind of, well, like, no shit. This is why you would think like deeper elements and trying to discover who you are.
Yeah, man. There's no time to write like lame lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're choosing to be an artist, we need to bring something to the world that hasn't been brought yet. And I think cheap lyrics is a terrible way to do that. So.
I love that. There's no time for lame lyrics. I love that. Because there's so much out there, and you know, I'll be the first one to admit it. I've written my fair share of lame lyrics, like in a session.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, right.
I have to. It's like, don't even.
But the stuff like you've chosen, like to put out, I feel like it touches on like a different level, way above lame lyric, obviously. But the thing of Like it really cuts a lot harder because again, like with Shiver, the theme for me was duality. And you don't hear people talking about or sharing this at least theme. If I nailed it, or if you have another theme for the song of duality. I mean, are these
Totally.
like is this something like you focus on like when you songwrite, or is this just kind of like, well, I'm in the moment and I'm writing this because I'm feeling this?
I think it's a little bit of both. It depends on the song. Sometimes it's been bubbling, and then sometimes it's what you just said, where it's just like in that moment. This is the first, like a lot of times it's the first line that I write for the song that I'm like, this is what it's about. Or I write it and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I need to figure out what I meant when I just said that.
Oh yeah. My constant struggle.
I'm sure
yeah.
you can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yes. Like that sounded really great. That felt great. Let's figure out what the heck that means.
Yeah, 100%. Because like when words start flying, do you co-write or do you write majorly by yourself?
I started co-writing really recently, yes.
Yeah,
It's been really cool.
Oh, you enjoy it. Like it was a different experience for me, like my first couple of times. But it's that thing of like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. And the good thing about the co-write situation is that when you do say something, it doesn't make any sense. But like the people in the room are like, well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. Like, can we discover that?
And it's funny. I do want to clarify. Co-writing, I actually hated.
Oh yeah.
My first co-write, I wrote "What Do I Say."
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool because that was like my first ever co-write, like in general, but also like in Nashville. And I had written that chorus. I'd written the chorus and the first verse the day before, and so I didn't really know how any of this worked. And I just like, hey, so I started writing this yesterday. I think it could be kind of cool. And they were like, yeah, dude. And so literally, like, we finished the song in there, and it wouldn't be what it is like without Josh. And that was so fun.
Who was the co-write?
Like, yeah.
Who was it? Sorry.
Josh Gabbard.
Oh, okay.
Josh
yeah.
Gabbard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a tricky song. I was thinking about that song lyrically, just kind of like looking it over. And I mean, there are moments of, I think it was that thing. I think I was feeling it without putting it, but now that we're talking about it, now it makes sense of like, I don't know what that line means, but it's cool. Like the delivery of it, like whatever that is. To me, that's one of those songs too. Like, did it feel that way?
Yeah, because like literally the first line I wrote was, "What do I say?" And part of me, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't really know. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I wonder if my subconscious was actually asking myself like what to say over this cool chorus that I'm playing. You know, because I was just sitting on the piano playing it, and that's like the thing that fell out first. And I was like, I don't know if I'm actually asking myself like, what do I say right now? Like trying to write this song. But then, you know, or was it literally like what pioneered the rest of that track, which was like the rest of the lyrics and like the whole conversation that song is. He really helped me hone in because I kind of like tend to go all over the place sometimes. Like I'll have two verses that when I'm first writing something, like they don't really make sense when put together. And so he kind of like, I would keep writing these verses and he's working on the track and I'd like check in and like he was like really like melodically really helpful. And so I was like pacing around the room and I would write a verse and I'd show it to him and he'd be like, that's good. You can do better on this line, I think. So like it was so nice for me because like I need that. It was pushing me and causing me to be like, whoa, like I don't know if I would have pressured myself to do that if I was alone in my room right now. I might have just rolled with that.
Right.
So it's like it's super cool. It's super cool.
Digging with the especially philosophical stuff, Swim, that's a big one too.
Man, yeah, this song is like really, really special to me. The verses are essentially like what I hear or what my insecurities kind of tell me, people are telling me, or what they think about me. and it's weird. It's like the verses are kind of that perspective, and then the chorus is just me talking to myself. But I tried to write the verses almost like I was talking to somebody else, not it was someone talking to me. If that makes sense.
It does. It does
so
now.
That someone else could, sorry, that was confusing.
No, it's not confusing.
I did that.
It just makes it more real to me of like, oh, yeah, that's gnarly. That's cool.
Yeah, because, like, someone listening to it, that's what it sounds like, and that was the intention.
Yeah.
So, because then it's more, then it feels like I'm talking to them. And if they connect with what I'm saying, then it feels like literally they're talking to me, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, anywho.
And this track even hits harder, too. Like, to me, this was like, out of everything that I've kind of listened to, not lyrically speaking, but even sonically, it's like it just hits harder and it's darker, too.
It's really dark, and it's got kind of a rock edge to it, which I really like. And
that's your shows too, and that's why I mentioned the live stuff, because that's not what I was expecting from a live like video. And I thought this is gnarly. Like, this is what like music needs more of, like especially live emotional tantrums and stage work. Like, it's awesome. Like, you got a great live show, at least what I've seen online.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. My band makes it super easy, dude. They're incredible. I love those guys so much.
That's cool. Yeah, well, it sounds like, I don't know, how do you feel about life right now?
I mean, how does anybody feel? This is such a bizarre time we're in. Like, what is going on? There's tornadoes and viruses. I mean, I'm just trying, like I said, like to hone in on the back end stuff. I'm trying to write more for my next project, kind of just digging in creatively and doing what I can while I'm not on the road. So how about you, man? What are you doing? You doing a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, I think so. Doing a lot more. I mean, I'm doing what I can because a lot of you guys can't go tour anymore. I mean, that's all shut down. So at least I can, I don't know, I can talk to you peeps and maybe sell a record or two. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I like your stuff. I'm glad we got connected. I got to admit that I didn't know you until your publicist said, oh, you need to go check this out. And I'm glad I did, because usually I don't. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
I'm a professional ghoster, 100%. Yeah, they call me Casper. I'm so like happy like ghosting a situation. But in this, I dove into it. Yeah. I dove into it.
I love that so much.
Yeah, I was definitely hooked. So like nothing but the best for you for sure.
Oh, dude, that's extremely kind, and you as well. I love to hear that you're a songwriter. That makes everything you're saying hold so much more weight, you know?
No, it doesn't. It's me. No. Whatever I say to you, like, you need to ghost my comments, like everything. So you
okay,
become
so
a
I
ghoster.
need to become Casper.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with Maggie Miles. Go pre-order, pre-purchase, pre-save that song, Swim, March 27th. It's coming out. Support a new artist. Support indie artists. Support any artist during this crazy time. They definitely need it, and you'll enjoy the experience. Again, it's Swim on March 27th. Go pre-save it, and then you go give her a follow on any of her social platforms, Maggie Miles. Also go to MaggieMilesMusic.com to check out any swag. Hopefully she'll have some tour dates up. See her in a city near you whenever the Rona kind of clears up. But again, that new music, go support an artist. I don't know, if you're Generation Z hanging out in Florida during spring break, you're not scared of the Rona, you got some new jams. What can I say? Speaking of connecting and the experience of it all, you can always stay connected with us at SMI Podcast. And of course, you can go to smipodcast.com to email us. Check us out there. Love mail, hate mail. I love it all. I respond to you personally, unless you're crazy. No, I respond to crazy too. I like crazy. But This is where we're at, everybody. Stay connected. Love one another. If you enjoyed this episode, if this is a thing in your life, maybe somebody else would enjoy it in this time. Found it interesting, they can connect to it, share it with them. But you can always subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and new episodes will pop up Tuesday. And new to this year, I'm going to start posting some stuff in between for artist releases. As soon as I have enough stuff, it's going to happen. You guys are already subscribed to Countryline TV, Elton John's funded app in the UK. Got some UK friends out there. Nice to meet you. Go give us a follow at SMI Podcast. And of course, you go to smipodcast.com for everything else. Thanks for listening to the show. Everybody, stay beautiful out there. Stay connected. Whatever that means, hit that subscribe button. Tell people about the show. Be entertained. Be lovely. Be human. Share an experience for what that's worth. Take care of one another. All right? Happy surviving out there.